So the government review and strategy for dealing with rape cases in the UK has been published, and let's just start with a proper celebration. Woohoo! We did it! Well done, campaigners around the country. It's been a struggle, but here we are. At last. It's going to be a golden era for women, I think, all around the UK. First of all, what a big victory. They've said that they're sorry, and I think that's basically what we needed, isn't it? That's where I wanted to start. So now I'm going to read some of the not the results of the report, but the plan going forward, and we'll just see what a glorious big victory this is. Totally unscripted. Let's see how exciting the future is going to be for women finally getting justice. We will put in place a framework that holds each part of the system accountable for its part in driving improvements. Well, that's what we wanted, isn't it? That, I think a lot of victims of sexual violence are out there now thinking, what I need is a load of meaningless management consultancy talk. That will totally solve my problem. Let's look at first of all, they list the actions already being delivered. Like, ladies, we're there. We're ahead of you. What are you all so worried about? We are on the case. What does it say? An initial ambition to raise the volumes of rape cases being referred by police. That is not even a grammatically meaningful sentence. An initial ambition to increase volumes of rape cases being referred by police, charged and going to court back to 2016 levels by the end of the Parliament. Seriously, that is literally the first ambition, not like goal or like line in the sand or guarantee. Their ambition is to get us back to 2016 levels by the end of this Parliament. Do you remember the golden days of 2016 when women were treated like royalty and nobody got raped? No, nor do I. No. Blah, 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 blah. The actions that we will implement in the first 6 months. We will publish our first update on progress through a performance scorecard to demonstrate. I'll give you a fucking performance scorecard. 0 fucking points. And then in the next 6 to 12 months, we will publish a second progress update, because I really feel that that's what victims want, isn't it? They're like, well, I've read the first progress performance scorecard update, but I really feel like I'd like to read another one, not see the rapist piece of shit get locked up. And then the actions after that are publish ongoing progress updates. What? We don't need more updates. We need more rape convictions. Next action. This is one, again, that's already been implemented. So this is not a new promise. They're just like, look what we were already doing. We've already invested 176 million to increase support for rape and domestic abuse victims. Now, this very same report suggests that 20% of women in the UK have been victims of sexual violence. So that works out 27 quid per victim. And don't forget that we've still then got to share that with the domestic abuse victims, which is a different crime and a different category, much as it might overlap sometimes. And I'm sure some of you are thinking, don't men also sometimes suffer as victims of rape and domestic abuse? And the answer is, yes, they do, but I'm not entirely sure which part of the 27 quid I'm supposed to give them. I sort of feel like maybe the problem isn't my unwillingness to share, it's more sort of the whole, that's a trivial amount of money that isn't going to solve anything and it's already been pledged anyway. And then we're going to, in the next 6 months, consult on the provision of community-based sexual violence support service. Great. And they're also going to consult on how to enhance support and access to legal advice for rape victims so they're able to understand and challenge information requests from the police and prosecutors. Do we not just need to be treated respectfully in the first place? Not like someone to carefully hold our hand and explain why we're being treated like absolute shit. Publish a victims funding strategy. Oh, I can't wait to read that. I mean, it'll just be like neat therapy, won't it? Reading a victims funding strategy. None of this helps frickin' anybody. Targeted, what will happen within 6 to 12 months? Targeted research with rape victims to better understand their experience. Oh, great. Oh, I know what rape victims want. They want to fill in a questionnaire about their needs. I've only got one need. Lock the piece of shit up. It's not exactly complicated. They've already published a revised victims code that sets out 12 key rights. Like, the right was to not get raped in the first place. Like, that's the only right that anybody gives a monkey's about. And in the next 6 months, they will consult on how to, like, anything that starts with consult. Like, so they're going to try, so they've published a report, and the outcome of it is we're going to do some more research. We're going to ask some more people. Like, there's a report and it says you're shit and you've said you're sorry. Now you need to actually change things. We don't need more reports. Publish a series of user-friendly guides for victims of rape and sexual assault. What is it, the fucking Penguin Guide to Rape and Sexual Assault? It's just, we don't need people to patronisingly talk down to us about what is going to happen next. We need what is going to happen next to change to something is going to happen next. Oh God, there's literally more of this shit. We have already improved the early investigative advice process to help the police and CPS build better cases from the outset, and going forward we're going to launch Pathfinder projects to test innovative ways for the police. And then in the next 12 to 24 months we're going to utilise the learning from Pathfinder projects to develop a new operating model. None of this means anything, does it? We're going to deliver learning and development and increase resourcing to improve capability and capacity in. Publish updated guidance on how to conduct achieving best evidence interviews. Improve quality of communication with victims through better supporting documents and training around victim contact. Do they mean like just shut the fuck up and start listening to victims and believing them? Honestly, I don't think I can bear to read any more of this. Victims should receive clear, prompt communication and engagement throughout the process. Did we need a report to tell us to communicate with people who report being raped? The thing is, actually this last one says, only evidence that is about the victim that is pertinent to the case is deployed at court, and a victim's credibility is not undermined. But like, that's something that we've been talking about and indeed promising with respect to rape cases for decades. Absolutely decades. The fact is that the rape conviction rate has fallen through the floor, and it was already on the floor. And the reason for that, mainly, is that these days the police insist on taking phones off of victims and going through everything on your phone, which takes months, to see if there's anything there that makes you seem a bit slutty, so that they can hand it over to the defence to be brought up in court. And it's absolute gibberish, because nothing on my mobile phone, I was going to wave it, but obviously I'm filming off it, nothing on my mobile phone constitutes consent to anything. Even if there's literally a video of me dragging my knickers off and shouting, I can't wait to jump on that specific cock. It doesn't matter, because what matters is getting consent at the time. Consent can't be pre-issued by text message. It doesn't work like that, because consent is ongoing and continuous and informed and can be withdrawn at any time. So what we should do, when somebody comes to the police and reports rape, we should take an initial, straightforward statement from them about practically what happened, just the events themselves, and we should take any physical evidence that there is available at the time, whether it's swabs, things like that, whether it is photographs of injuries, or whether it is like practical stuff that they want to hand over, such as like, I don't know, messages from the perpetrator describing what's happened in a way that seems condemning. And then we should get the alleged rapist in, and we should ask them to describe the events from their point of view and find out what they're saying about whether it happened, about what happened consent-wise, about whether there was ongoing clear consent, and what serious grounds they had to believe that there was ongoing clear consent. And that's the point where people are going to trip up. That's the point where we're going to find perpetrators saying stuff that doesn't add up, saying stuff that doesn't show that they were careful about getting proper consent. That's where it should all start. And if they've got evidence that's based on something that came from a text message or a WhatsApp message or a phone message, then that message will be on their phone. Because if they didn't see it, how can they possibly have taken that information into consideration when it comes to determining consent? Like, it's so straightforward. It's so not complicated. And we've been saying it for so long. And we get a sorry and this disgusting pile of management consultancy style platitudes that commit to absolutely nothing concrete at all and won't change a fucking thing. See you next week.